Hey there, and welcome. We talk about the future all the time, every single day. But doing it in English, well, it's not always so simple, is it? Are you making a solid plan? Or maybe taking a wild guess? Or are you sharing some far off dream? Turns out, each of those needs a slightly different approach. So today, let's really master the art of talking about what's to come. Just think about this for a second. How you'd answer this simple question. It actually reveals the first and probably the most common way we talk about the future, by talking about our definite plans. But as you're about to see, that's really just one piece of the puzzle. Okay, now this is a totally different kind of future talk, right? This has nothing to do with your personal calendar. This is a prediction. It's about what you think is going to happen. And for this, English has a completely different set of tools. We'll get to all that later, but first, let's lock in the basics, talking about your plans. All right, let's kick things off with the most straightforward type of future, the fixed arrangement. This is for anything and everything that's already locked into your schedule. Here we go. A perfect, totally natural example. The speaker knows exactly what they're doing. They've already arranged to meet their friends. It's not just some vague idea. It's a real plan. And the plan just keeps on rolling. Now pay close attention to the language here. I'm meeting. We're going. That pattern is the absolute key, the magic formula, for talking about your arrangements. So here's the crucial point. Even though it's literally called the present continuous, we use it all the time to talk about future plans. It's kind of funny, right? But if you've set a time or a place for something, this is the tense you need. I'm working tomorrow morning. She's flying to Berlin next week. See. And this shows you exactly how we ask about those plans. These are your go-to questions for finding out about someone's holiday or other big arrangements. And you can take the answers and put them all together, like, I'm going to Egypt for 10 days with a group of friends. It just paints such a clear picture of a future plan. Okay, let's move on. Not everything in the future is a fixed plan, right? Sometimes it's just an intention, maybe a dream, and other times it's a super rigid schedule. So let's break down the difference. Just listen to the language here. The question, what are you going to do, is a prompt to talk about an intention, not a fixed appointment. And the answer, my dream is to, well, that signals a huge life goal, a real ambition. It's definitely a plan for the future, but it's not something that's in the calendar for next Tuesday. Now, let's contrast that with this. The concert starts. The bus leaves. This is all about timetables. These things are happening whether you're there or not. They run on a schedule. And because of that, we use a completely different tense. And this slide just lays out the difference so clearly. On the left side, for your personal intentions and your big dreams, you use phrases like going to or planning to. But on the right, for things like public transport, class times, or concert schedules, you just use the simple present tense. My flight is at 10. The wedding is at 3. See the difference? Okay, so we've covered plans and we've covered schedules. But what about when you don't really know what will happen, but you've got a pretty good idea? Well, that's where predictions come in, and how certain you feel totally changes the words you're going to use. Think of this table as your guide to making predictions. At the very top, when you're 100% sure, you can say something is bound to happen. A little less sure, you're pretty sure it'll happen. If you think it probably won't, well, then it's unlikely to happen. And if you think there's absolutely zero possibility, there's no chance. It's a full spectrum of confidence all laid out for you. And here are a couple of really crucial little details. Sure to and bound to, those are for things you are certain will happen. So you can't say something like, he's bound to not come. And just remember, likely simply means probable. So saying, he's unlikely to get a fast time just means he'll probably be a bit slow. These little nuances make your predictions so much more precise. So far, we've pretty much dealt with things that are planned, or at least predictable. But let's be honest, most of the time, the future is just a big question mark. So how do you talk about possibilities when you just don't know? Okay, think of this as your official toolkit for talking about an uncertain future. First up, you've got modal verbs like may, might, and could. Second, you can add adverbs like perhaps and maybe. And third, you've got these great catch-all phrases like it's possible that. Let's see them in action. And here's how all those tools work in the real world. Instead of a definite, it will be ready, you can soften it to, it may be ready. Instead of committing by saying, I will work overtime, you can just propose, maybe I'll work overtime.
These small changes are perfect for expressing that you aren't 100% sure, which, let's face it, is essential for clear communication.
So there you have it, from a fixed lunch date to a vague, far-off dream, from a train schedule to a wild prediction about the World Cup. You now have the tools to talk about any kind of future you can imagine. So the only question left is, how are you going to describe the future you're creating for yourself?